Megan McIntosh here. Welcome to this video. Today I want to talk about reading your clients' minds in marketing and branding. So if you're there watching, say hi, let me know where you're coming in from and what you're up to. I'm still in Kingston, just away from home. We're going to go back, I think, tomorrow to just outside of Toronto, and we have just been laying low, working from home, chilling out. We had a long vacation, and so I'm just doing it all from home as usual, just in a different location. That's the one good thing about working, an online business and a business where you're from home, right? And also too in COVID. So a lot of you are probably working from home. I mean, I know some people don't want to be working from home and they want to be out in the office. And so I guess it depends on the way you like to work. So today I want to talk about reading your clients' minds, because I think this is something that's really important, in that it's literally one of the most important things that you can do in marketing is understanding your ideal clients inside and out, and knowing how to speak to them and talk to them, and really understanding their pain points, but also understanding what they want in their life, so that you can help them with those things. What was I going to say? Oh, I know. I was going to say that I hope you're enjoying a great week. I know it's the 4th of January. I can't believe it. May the 4th be with you. Sorry, I didn't organize my hair before. I'm like, I don't know which way I wanted to go there. And we actually are going into a new lockdown tomorrow. Our cases are out of control here in the Ontario where I live. I mean, as they are probably around the world. And so we just learned of another lockdown where kids are going to be working from home again, from virtually, and we can't do indoor dining anymore. And so tonight is actually going to be like a last hurrah day if anyone wants to go anywhere, because everything is going to be shutting down as of tomorrow in terms of restaurants, only doing delivery, and sports events and ticket events being closed, and gyms closing. So it's a bit stressful, especially in my household, because my partner, he works at a gym, he works from home as well, but he also works at a gym, so it's very stressful because, he's not supposed to be training or giving therapy to people. So it's back in those times. However, apparently it's supposed to go till the end of January, so we will see. Fingers crossed it helps, and fingers crossed we're not in this forever. And fingers crossed I am okay. I've been having I actually went over to someone's house yesterday with 2 cats, and when I was a kid, little story, I used to be severely allergic to cats. So I would go to people's houses with cats. I would open up their door, and if they told me that they had cats, I could not go inside, because if I did, my whole eyes would shut together, and within 5 minutes, and my nose would be running and red, and I just couldn't breathe. So I was severely allergic to cats. And then as I got older, I would say maybe in my university years, I dated someone who had an apartment where there was a cat in the apartment, and I got used to living with a cat. I would visit his house, obviously, because he was my boyfriend at the time, and I was like, oh, I'm not as allergic as I used to be. And so then I slowly got rid of the allergy, that I don't really have as many symptoms. They're just not as aggressive. But the night before, I can't keep track. But I went over to a friend of ours, and they have 2 cats, and I was pretty okay. And then the next day I couldn't really breathe, and I was like, oh, is this COVID or is this cat allergies, right? It's one of those things where you have no idea. So I still have the sniffles from it. So hopefully it's just cat allergies that are, usually what happens with my allergies, especially in the summertime, is if I get a hold of them, they kind of last for a few days and then they go away. So it's just one of those things about allergies, that they just kind of last a little bit, because my body just gets down with the immune thing. So anyway, okay, so let's talk about talking to your ideal clients and understanding how to get inside their heads. So I did a mastermind in 2020. It's so hard to believe it was so long ago, because the 2 years have sort of grown together, and it was about mastering messaging and understanding how to really have that messaging come through in copywriting and understanding how to speak to your clients. And so I really learned that inside and out. And I think this is something that so many of us struggle with, because we might think, oh, this has to be such a hard thing to write about the ideal client, and how do you how do you do the buyer persona, and is it how many books they read or anything like that? But it really isn't that difficult. It's more about the problems and their desires, less about, if they have a certain amount of kids. Hey, Stevie, if they have a certain amount of kids, or if they are live in a certain neighborhood. It's more about what they want and how you can help them with your solution. That really comes down to it, and understanding that the problems that are in their head that they have, right? So I actually, I don't know if you're familiar with the whole idea of like internal problem, philosophical problem, motivator, and understanding like why someone would buy something. But usually that's some of the stuff that I've learned through the courses that I've taken. But really, like, there's surface level problems, right? And that's the things that we might like complain about with our friends. And that's the kind of things that you might want to focus on when you're talking about it in your copywriting. But then there's also like how a problem makes someone feel, right? So in sales, usually what we do, oftentimes when you learn how to do a sales call, is you want to get deeper into how something makes them feel, right? So you might look at the benefits rather than the features of something, but you also might want to know, hey, what is the problem, and how could that, influence their decision making, or how is that problem affecting their life? How is that making them feel, right? And so you do need to know, that makes that a little bit deeper for you when you're putting your copywriting out there. So you might say, hey, are you someone that struggles with getting with clients? Now, I don't like using the word struggle, but I mean, say it's like, oh, I want to help you get clients. But that is something that anybody can say online. So you want to know deeper what's that problem, so how it's making them feel. So, for instance, it could be something like, when you're in bed, you're thinking, oh God, I wish these people would book discovery calls with me. I just want to wake up in the morning, have 5 discovery calls on the book, and then be great ideal clients, right? So that might be more of like it going deeper into the problem than just like, hey, how do I get clients? It's more like how it's affecting them and what they're thinking about in a deeper way, right? And there's so many different elements into understanding the buyer motivations, right? You can see about the philosophical problem, like why is it bugging them so much, right? So it could be something like, if you're someone that is building a business and you're not getting clients, it could be that it's bugging you not getting clients because you feel like you're behind other people online, and you feel like, how come they're making this money and I'm not? Or how come they have these clients and I don't, right? And how come I'm buying these courses that say make money by direct messaging and using these scripts, and they're not working, and you've tried them or whatever, right? So, what are they believing about this problem about themselves? So there's so many elements to understanding your audience and understanding how to write or speak about the problems to your audience. So when I'm talking to my clients or potential clients, and when I'm writing about the problems online, I'm going to go deeper into it and really tell the story, right? Story tell that problem, rather than just make it so surface level that's obvious, like, oh, do you want to get 2 new clients this month, right? Why do they want to get that, right? Why do they want to get those 2 clients? Like, you can talk to their desires, right? You can talk about, hey, you want to get 2 new clients so that you're feeling really confident that maybe you can leave your job, or you want to get 2 new clients because you want to be able to get really good testimonials. I mean, that's probably not really, that might be something, but I would say more, it's like you feel like you deserve that handbag, or you want to go on that trip, or whatever it is, right? You want to pay off some debt, whatever it could be, right? Like, there's a motivator for someone to want to get 2 clients, and it's not just like, hey, why don't you get those 2 clients to get 2 clients? Like, someone doesn't want something unless there's a reason behind why they want something, right? And you need to understand those reasons, right? You need to understand why your client's doing what they're doing or wanting what they want. And I think it's important to think about that, because a lot of us just think about like okay, this is what people want. They want to get clients or they want to build their brand, but why do they want to do it, right? They don't, because otherwise, if you don't know the why behind why they want to buy or why they want to do something, you're not going to know why you might be a good choice for them to work with, or how you can say how you might not be able to connect with them better, right? So I have another thing that I think is interesting is sometimes people, especially in the coaching space, especially in the consulting space and online, a lot of people believe this is something that I know is a problem that a lot of people think. So my clients, the ones that come to me, I know that to work with someone, if someone's going to be reaching out to me, they have to already have broken that barrier in their head that it's okay to reach out to someone, and you have to make it feel really safe for them. And the reason for that is because of the way the online space is set up, right? It's set up very like brand wise, right? So everyone's showing pretty pictures, everyone's showing like a specific brand strategy. They're making everything look pretty on the outside, but oftentimes it's not it's not really that, right? Like maybe they don't have clients even though they have like 100,000 people on their Instagram. I've heard that before, where people might have a lot of Instagram followers, but they don't know how to convert their followers. But what happens is the people don't necessarily want to say I have a problem because they want to be able to do it on their own, right? So I know that I have helped people who are coaches and other business coaches, right? Like I've been able to help other people like that. And they might be like, oh, I don't want to go to her for help because I'm supposed to know how to do that already. Like I'm a coach. I'm supposed to already know how to do my own mindset. I'm supposed to know how to like get sales. I'm supposed to know how to do marketing. And I teach that myself. So like, why would I reach out to her if I do that? It's weird and it's awkward and I shouldn't have to do that, right? So that's something that a lot of people probably don't realize is like actually a problem that you, like if you're like me, that's something that I have to help overcome for my own clients, right? Is that they're thinking, if I'm going to her, like she's probably like, she might judge me or she might think these things because I'm supposed to be able to know how to do that already. But I always say, okay, if you're willing to look at where you are in your business, and if you're willing to say, hey, I trust that person, I trust that coach, or I trust that person to help me. And also I know that sometimes we don't see the things that other people see from us. So, you know, why I've had coaches and why I like to work with coaches myself, even though they're often do the same thing as me, is because they are able to see my patterns. They are able to see the things that I don't always see. And they might be able to say, you know, not only see my patterns, but also be able to help me add to my strategy, or help me with my mindset, and help me brainstorm together, right? You're literally getting a second brain when you're working with someone. So I always think a lot of people might think, oh, well, if I reach out to that coach to help me get clients, but I'm supposed to help people get clients, but I have clients right now, it's like, that's so weird, like for me to do that. It's like, it would be weird for me to reach out. Like, I don't know if I should, like, that's strange. So I think that that is a huge problem. Like I see that. And so I would always say, like, if you're a coach, you have to know that that is something that is actually a problem that a lot of your clients might face. And so that's why you have to make it such a safe space for people to reach out to you. You have to acknowledge that, hey, like I know that you might be feeling like, oh, I'm insecure reaching out to this coach because I'm a coach. Like I'm insecure to ask for mindset help because I'm a mindset coach. Or I feel weird reaching out for sales help because I'm a sales coach. Or I feel weird asking for marketing help because I'm a marketing coach. Like that's strange. They're probably like, what the heck's wrong with you? And it's the exact opposite. Like when I work with coaches, I realize that I want to work with that person, number one, because I want their brain power, right? I also know that if they're a coach, they understand coaching, and they understand believing in people, and they understand that, they're going to be the least likely people to want to beat me up. Like what I don't mean like literal beat up, but like, how we beat ourselves up, like basically been like, oh, I'm embarrassed to talk to that person or reach out because they're going to judge me, a coach is the least likely person to judge you, right? Because that's their whole job, is to really believe in you and build that belief in yourself. So that's the only way like I'm able to think about it for myself, is like, put your ego at the door and your vulnerabilities at the door and be open to reaching out to someone. And that's the way I think about it, right? So that's probably one of the things that is a problem that I know that people that maybe come to me, maybe they're afraid to reach out to do a discovery call with me or a sales call. And I don't think it's necessarily because they don't want to be sold to. I think, and a lot of people think that, right? Oh, like, don't do a sale. I feel weird about doing sales calls because like the other person on the line doesn't want to be sold to. Actually, it's the opposite, okay? Oftentimes, if you're pitching to people and they get on a sales call with you, they know you're actually going to sell. You're going to sell them because they know that that's what you do. So it's not like they're like, oh my God, are they going to sell to me or not? They know if they're getting a discovery or sales call that you are selling to them. So they might actually not get on a call with you until they're ready to buy, right? So you might be saying, how come people aren't getting on calls with me? And it's because it's actually not about them being afraid to get sold to, or you're not pitching it properly. It's really about trust, and maybe you haven't built up enough trust with your audience or specific people in your audience enough that they feel safe to be ready to give you their money, because they know that if they feel safe enough and once they're ready to buy, every single time I've gotten on a discovery call or a sales call with someone, I bought from them, right? Because I knew going into the call that I was going to buy from them. And yet, I may have watched them, I may have followed them for a while and just wondered, are they the right coach for me? And then when I was ready, I probably popped out of nowhere, got on a call with them, and I'm ready, right? And I think that that's also something that you have to remember if you're selling in this industry, is that a lot of people, it's not that they're afraid to buy, it's just that they know they're going to buy because they're, want to buy, right? Most people want to buy. And that's something that I don't know why people say, oh, do you feel sleazy or pushy on a sales call? No, actually, people want to buy, right? And so it's not about you being afraid to do that. I do feel people are afraid to do that in follow-ups. I will say that. I think that I was talking to someone yesterday about following up, and they had only followed up twice for something. And I recommended them to, follow up, if they could once a month, or I was just giving them an idea for what they were wanting to get. And I said, what, actually, you need to follow up more. And they're like, oh, I feel weird following up. I'm like, well, that's where most people feel weird. I think they feel less weird when they're on a discovery call with someone. Because I think discovery calls, like the ones that I get on and the ones that I do myself with clients and the ones I've been on the other end of, are actually very empowering and fun, and you learn things. So if someone's not getting on a call with you, they know that they're going to be swayed to buy from you because you're just that good, right? They've willed themselves to get on the call. Now, I'm not saying that some people don't get on calls and they're just more bold and want to get some information from you, but that's rare. I would say that's rare. So, okay, so that's all I wanted to say, is just give you some examples of my own business, of how you really need to know your clients inside and out, and there might be things that you don't even realize they're thinking and doing that are preventing them from buying from you. And understanding, how do I cultivate that trust around that problem, right? So if you even can write down all the different things that they're experiencing or thinking or feeling about a specific problem, why it's bothering them, what they're thinking about at night, what they're talking to people about, why are they feeling this problem? How is it affecting them? If you know all these different elements of the problem, then what that means is you can start talking about that problem. You can be open with your clients about it and say, hey, listen, I get it. You don't have to say it in those words, but you can say, listen, I get it. I know what it feels like to be afraid to get on a discovery call with someone, or it means to, be vulnerable and open up to a coach and not be ready to buy and be wondering, is this person going to pitch to me? And just once you can go deeper and deeper into the audience, your audience's pain points and problems, then what that means is they're going to be like, oh my God, this person gets it. They understand me. They understand me inside and out, and they can help me, right? And that's all you want. Like, that's reading someone's mind, is when they feel like you get them, when they feel like you're literally saying the things that they're thinking. Like, for instance, saying like I mentioned the things with like, oh, I wish I could have more people discovery calls on my books. You know, one of my potential clients might think that, or they might think like, oh, I feel weird following up with people a lot. Like, I kind of want someone to teach me the best way to do that. Or it could be like, you know, I like posting on social media, but I don't really know what to post. And how do I post something that is not too cheesy, but, you know, helps convert clients, right? And just knowing the things that people are thinking. And also knowing, like, you know, I know another thing that's funny with my clients is that the idea of mindset, right? So everybody talks about like how mindset is like 99.9% the game, right? And like, but everybody wants strategy, right? Everyone wants to learn strategy. And it is so true, right? Everyone wants to know, okay, like I get it, that mindset is like pretty much everything, but I want to know the strategy. And I think it's like, no matter how many times you hear it, honestly, it's still annoying. And it's still like, okay, I get it, but like, what's the strategy? And I think that, like, no matter how many times someone says that statement, the person still wants to have the strategy. The person still wants to know, okay, I get it, but, like, what is the strategy? And I think the only way to, like, really teach this, in a sense, and break it down for someone so they get it, is to literally give them the strategy and give them the mindset. And I mean, I can't do this in, like, a 10-minute video, but 5 more minutes. For instance, your strategy could be anything. It could be literally posting on Instagram, doing Instagram stories, but it has to be consistent, right? It has to be whatever strategy you're doing. It has to be consistent. You have to be doing it over and over again. And that is very difficult. That is, like, honestly, one of the most hard things to do is being consistent, not getting bored, and thinking, am I doing enough, right? Oh, like, maybe I'm not doing enough on this strategy, right? And the other thing you need to be doing as a strategy is building relationships consistently. Not many people do that. Like, so a lot of people might be posting every day on Instagram or Facebook or wherever, but they're not building relationships. So that's where I bring in my strategy, is helping people like cultivate that muscle of building relationships consistently. And you might say, okay, yeah, like I comment on people's posts and Facebook and that kind of thing, but like really building relationships and knowing that, like, I've been in sales my whole career. Like, before I even got into coaching, I was in sales for over 15 years. The only people that bought were people that knew me, they liked me, and I built relationships, like not just like fake relationships, internet relationships, Facebook friend relationships, like literally real relationships where I'd go to events and see them. I'd talk to them on the phone. I'd get to know them. And, you know, I would get a lot of money from them. Like I was, getting like $5,000, $10,000, $20,000, $50,000 sponsorship from people and brands, right? But I had to build relationships with people. That was when I was selling sponsorships and magazine publishing. Then when I went into selling composers into commercials and television, so basically I had to build relationships with advertising agencies and production companies to promote my roster of composers, like musicians, to do a movie. So I actually watched a movie the other day that one of my old composers that I used to pitch there was on the movie, and I was like, oh my god, he's like on the movie, and he's like one of my old composers that I used to promote. How did I do that? Well, it took time. Like I spent time getting to know these advertising agency executives who are in charge with booking composers and who are in charge with the music. And it wasn't just like one email. It was like following up, having a database, having a customer relationship management system that I would put my notes in when the last time I talked to them, when I was going to organize a luncheon meeting with them or a dinner, or when I'm going to see them at the next event. It wasn't like I had one email with this person or one Facebook comment and that person decided to go with my composer, right? I would go into the office and show the reels of the composers and show the work that they'd done. Like, this took time, right? And eventually I would land, you know, my composer into a commercial or into a documentary or onto a TV or something like that, right? But it wasn't like it happens in like 2 seconds. Now, can it possibly happen in 2 seconds? Yes, it can, just like online, right? So you might have those fluke things where you, like for instance, where I would maybe, like I'll just give you an example of advertising sales, where I might send out an email blast for like last chance to get the back page cover of the magazine, because I used to sell magazine space, ad space, as well as sponsorship. So you might have like a dry period, and then you might send like a last minute email, and someone's like, oh, I want to buy it, right? And you're like, oh, that was easy, I just sent an email. But you had built that email list up. Like I'd built that email list up. I'd been sending out emails to people. I don't know if it was monthly or weekly at that time. Maybe it was bi-weekly. Over and over. They knew who I was. I would go to events. I would send them magazines. So yes, was that one time that I might have like sent an email blast every once in a while? I'd get like a huge sale and I'd be like, oh, awesome. That was just like $5,000 with one email. Yes, that happens. And that also happens in coaching. Like I've had a lot of clients where they just come to me and they're ready. They're like, okay, I'm ready to coach with you. I'm like, that was easy. But was it easy? Yeah, it was. But what I mean is, like, was it like nothing? Did it take nothing? No, it took like 20 years of relationships, because a lot of people that booked to be my client in the beginning were people that I had been in relationships for 15 years before, right? Like some of my first clients in my coaching business, my actual first client, actually, I didn't really know him, but he was in the industry. He was like a film director. A commercial production director too. And so I was on his link, he was on my LinkedIn. So I just want to explain that it takes relationships, and you might get that sale off that person, but it takes relationship building. So I gotta go because I'm being called to go and move on my way, but I just wanted to share that with you. I hope that helped, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.